One detail that goes unnoticed by many fans of The Godfather, yet carries deep meaning for the story and for the character's internal makeup, is the relationship between Sonny Corleone and Lucy Mancini. In the film, it appears only as a quick, almost comedic insinuation without dramatic weight. But in Mario Puzo's novel, there is an impactful truth hidden there, one that reveals Santino's wild nature, the fragility of his emotions, Vito's silent understanding of the situation, and even the unexpected future of the Corleone family. Let's take a closer look. The relationship between Sonny and Lucy wasn't just a casual affair. It wasn't a fleeting attraction or occasional desire. Puzo describes it as something brutal, instinctive, primitive, as if the two of them, in that brief moment when they met, recognized each other on a level that existed before words, before Sicilian morality, before the lives they lived outside that room. For Sonny, Lucy was a forbidden place where he could unleash the beast, the untamable part of his personality, the same part that made him a feared warrior and an impulsive leader, but which also, as Vito knew, would eventually get him killed. Sandra, his lawful wife, was the complete opposite of that wild terrain. Beautiful, respectable, graceful, the perfect embodiment of the Sicilian ideal of wife and mother. But with Sandra, Sonny was obligated to perform the role of husband, heir to the Don, man of the community. There he was Santino Corleone, the eldest son, the family's protector. With Lucy, however, he was simply Santino the animal within, the man who acts before thinking, who feels before reasoning, who finds pleasure in heat, impact, and instinct. With Sandra, there was respect and obligation. With Lucy, there was fire and chaos. This duality did not go unnoticed by Vito Corleone. The Don was not a moralist. Infidelity did not shock him. He understood the world of men, the world of formal honor and hidden impulses. But Sonny's affair with Lucy bothered him for reasons far deeper and much more strategic. To Vito, it represented a structural weakness, a dangerous flaw in his heir's personality. The Don understood that a man who gives himself too freely to his own desires, whether sexual desire, anger, pride, or immediate satisfaction, loses his head precisely when he most needs to keep it steady. Lucy wasn't the problem. The problem was what she revealed about Sonny. To Vito, Santino exposed too much, his feelings, his impulses, his intentions. During the meeting with Filazzo, this became clear as day. The old Don declined the heroine deal with calm and calculated prudence, protecting the family and preserving the soul of his empire. Sonny, however, explodes, not physically but verbally. He lets slip his enthusiasm, curiosity, and interest. And Filazzo, like any seasoned player, instantly recognizes in this emotional lapse the opening he needs to divide the Corleones. That mistake, that crack in the armor, was born from the same animal side Sonny indulged with Lucy. This is why Vito watched the affair with silent but loaded eyes. Not because Sonny was betraying Sandra, but because Sonny was betraying the discipline required by his position. The Don knew, even before fate confirmed it, that Santino did not have the coldness necessary to survive at the top. His strength was too untamed, his heart too hot, his sense of self-preservation too small in the face of the emotional storm that guided him. And with Lucy, that storm found fertile ground. For Lucy Mancini, however, this wasn't about power plays or family strategy. For her, Sonny was the one person who understood her, not through the mind, but through the body, the energy, the rare chemistry. When Sonny dies, Lucy doesn't lose only the man she secretly loved. She loses the only connection that resonated with her nature. It is as if a part of her dies with him, a part she could never replace. This pain is not idealized in the novel. Puzo describes it in a raw, almost clinical way. Lucy falls apart, empties out, loses her footing. She wasn't a wife, she wasn't family, she wasn't anything officially. But she was, in a silent way, the guardian of Sonny's most human and most savage side. And then Puzo does something unexpected. He sends Lucy to Las Vegas. For many readers, this shift was strange, almost misplaced. Lucy's storyline in Vegas, involving doctors, insecurities, intimate surgery, and a tone more psychological than mafioso, seemed completely out of tune with the rest of the book. It felt as if the novel briefly transformed into something else. But this detour, so criticized at the time, gains new meaning decades later. It is in Vegas that Lucy receives what she never had in New York, a small space of her own, a spark of dignity, a narrative path not defined by Sonny's shadow. And it is also there that the story plants, almost imperceptibly, the seed of something far bigger, the birth of Vincent Mancini, Sonny's illegitimate son, who would inherit his father's wild and untamable nature, but would learn to channel it with discipline under Michael's guidance. That chapter, which once seemed useless, odd, misplaced, becomes in the future a key piece of the Corleone puzzle. Vincent is Sonny's living legacy, not the formal heir he never became, but the visceral Sonny. He is the direct result of that forbiddance. Brutal, animalistic passion described so vividly in the novel. And when he emerges as a central figure in the third film, he transforms Lucy from a background character into a silent pillar of the family's destiny. The woman who once carried only a wound now carries an inheritance. From her comes the man who will continue the Corleone name. Sonny's hot blood pulses through Vincent, but now with the cunning his father lacked. Thus, the cycle closes. The relationship between Sonny and Lucy, seen by many as a mere behind-the-scenes curiosity, becomes a deep symbol of the Corleone emotional structure, a clash between instinct and discipline, between social duty and desire, between what is expected of an heir and what a man truly is inside. It is there, in that clandestine room, that the most intimate truth about Santino reveals itself, a truth Vito cannot ignore, that Lucy carries as a scar and that Vincent will inherit as destiny. And that is why this seemingly small detail carries such immense weight. Because within it lies what the Corleones try hardest to control and what most defines them. The power of blood, the force of instinct, and the legacy no family, no matter how powerful, can ever fully erase. In the end, the story of Sonny Corleone and Lucy Mancini functions almost like a parable within the universe of The Godfather, a portrait of how living guided solely by instinct, impulse, and passion can bring not only moments of intensity, but also devastating consequences. And if you enjoyed this analysis of a detail often overlooked in The Godfather, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and of course, comment down below what you think about this explosive relationship between Sonny and Lucy, and whether you believe it truly influenced the fate of the Corleone family. I'd love to hear your thoughts.